My face is real greased up if there's a shine. As I figure like I like to go out in the sun. I don't want my face to turn in, or I don't want my whole body to turn into leather. And I keep thinking about um like that whole thing. Like as I've seen guys who like guys who golf and stuff, and then they get older, and then they're really dark and leathery. But I was thinking maybe they don't ever put lotion on. I don't know. I don't know. Everything is just go just see, just take care of yourself and see what happens. It's weird too, is that they have got kids. I was just thinking about this. Is they have kids who are like in their 20s doing, uh, making efforts to not age by doing injections into their faces and that are going to age them. So it's weird because it's like you're trying to fight something that you're scared of, so you make it happen. Because if they just start taking care of themselves and didn't ever go into like a mineral deficiency, I really, really think that it's around the time when you go into your 20, somewhere in your early 20s, I think is when most people start kind of getting more depleted, especially nowadays. Like, I don't know before, maybe like in their 40s, but then they started putting more food that had no nutrition, more chemicals and everything. And so that started making people have issues. And then when any issue you go to the doctor for at any point, I mean, they're probably pretty soon gonna be telling teenagers, well, that's aging. That's what happens when you're aging. But that's what is their go-to. And or sometimes with women, it's something with their period. I don't know for men what they say to men. Women, you either have mental problems and you just don't understand your body, or you've got problems with your hormones and your period, or you're aging. And so, and now, to realize like even when you have problems with your period and all that stuff, that's your body trying to tell you something. And then we go and try these strangers and try and get them to fix it for us. They don't know what the fuck. They're not inside of us. They don't know shit. And then they just have a thing that they are the spokesperson for. They get, a kickback on, and they're just going to push that because that's what they're told. That's what they're told is the intelligent, the scientific way. That's what smart people do. That's how this manipulation works. Tell the people that are doing the stupidest ass shit that they're the smartest people in the world. I swear to God, everything is like the emperor's new clothes. And so, that book, I just found my book that I was my one when I was a kid. I found it the other day when I was looking for my high school yearbooks, and but the cover is gone off of it, but I still have it. That book stood out to me so much. I read it over and over and over and over, and I had that conspiracy thing nagging at me anyways. And I saw a movie the other day and I was like, oh, see, this is how this shit went down. Oh, this was an old Frankenstein one. I think it was the Hallmark Frankenstein one, which I really kind of liked, is it really was kind of good because he created the monster, and then the monster um, looked at him as his creator and was angry that he was created to just be alone and isolated. And so it had some good stuff like in it, and good kind of moral things, I thought. I think that story kind of has a lot of ethical stuff in it. But anyways, so this guy, what was I going to say about it? Hold on. The Frankenstein, what was I gonna say? Something about something. Ugh. Um, the now I have this is it's not like doing the same thing it usually does. It's doing something different, but it's like it still is kind of scabby, but it kind of burns, and it is I don't know, it's doing something weird. And then at the same time it's like coming out on this side. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Maybe I'll stick some more oregano oil up my nose or something. And then keep doing the horse paste, like, and the black seed oil. Because I can definitely tell when there's a lot of mucus where it comes, and how it does affect my vision when it's all clogged up here. You know, all the time where there's inflammation, that is where all this mucus and stuff goes. This it's like plasma and mucus, because the white blood cells travel in this plasma, but mucus is like a movement through our bodies, which is so weird because our bodies aren't even fucking real, but except for on this level of our understanding. And man, and we make it so real. That's what's so weird. And I'm having this really weird thing too. It's not just like everything is three-dimensional. I keep changing sizes. Like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like you look down and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, my body's huge. What am I doing? It is so weird. Like, so many weird things keep happening. The sounds that, I don't know, the sounds, the telepathy, the connection into the world is almost, it sometimes feels like the universe is just going to absorb you back into it. It's like as soon as you know the secrets, you just go back into it. It's like maybe the journey is trying to figure it out. I don't know. It feels weird though. Everything feels super weird. And I keep on forgetting to talk about Assange, which I was so excited when they finally let him out. But I was like, okay, this is a definite domino in this whole thing going down, because that is just too weird. They created so much drama, but don't forget, a lot of the time when they're creating the drama, it's to get our attention. So, you know, and he had, I mean, he's WikiLeaks, so there's a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of people like conspiracy theory. Well, I'm one of those people, but everybody has their own angles and stuff. And there's people who just look for conspiracy. Oh, okay, yeah, that was the thing in the movie that I was going to say, the conspiracy from when I was a kid. It was because I always had that weird feeling like it's a conspiracy. You can't trust people and stuff. And then it was only like, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, where I got the vision. I think it was it was a QHHT, and I had this vision, and I could see me going up like I was on horseback, and there was something behind me. It was just so weird because you'll just get this little snippet, but it's like you have a sense of everything else. It's like you just know. It's weird. And I knew I was getting put to death for something I didn't do, and that somebody else did. That was this like conspiracy thing. And so I had this jacked up thing in my neck, which always wonder now if it's less jacked up after that, because I don't have it, where I used to have oh my God, migraines all the time. It was always, and I don't have that now, but I've also gotten off meds and gotten off chemicals. So there's a lot of other things. So I'm not sure. And I don't want to go and do any more of the fucking tests. I've got so much fucking MRIs and I'm just, this medical system is just too fucking much. And then, but in that Frankenstein movie, there was a scene that I saw, and it was that same thing playing out. And I was like, oh, see, this shit happened all the time. People were getting put to death for other people's crimes. Somebody killed somebody, and this other person got blamed. Our judicial was way worse than is now. Now it's fucking corrupt as shit. Back then it was, I don't know, just lazy or what the fuck. Just like, well, that's who I think did it. Well, kill him, put him to death. Okay, that's basically like, there wasn't much to it. And so and if you had the people who were using you as the, it's like bait or the distraction or something, it was a lot of, I think, not knowing who you could trust. I think there was a lot of periods of time throughout this age of where there was trust issues in other lives and stuff. So yeah, you're gonna have those things are gonna go forward because the things that happen to you in other lives are still a part of you. And that's how you know the things you know and you understand the things you understand, is because you are a whole soul. You're not just this little snippet that you're paying attention to right now and that you're all caught up in all this drama. And so there's like when you think about like the different things that happen throughout history that we I kind of think, I swear, I think movies shows a lot of stuff, even though there's so much propaganda. Like, oh my God, there's certain things that, like World War II, and oh my gosh, one came on the other day. It was like the Civil War. I was like, I can't even fucking watch this shit. I can't even with their fucking bullshit. And then right now is all this big drama too of they're gonna draft the real is people into being soldiers or something, and it was the outrage or something. It's like everybody's got to understand, all of us, even the people of the real, that they are they're expendable. We're all expendable unless you are one of them, and them is a very exclusive group. Like they don't even care about their other bad guys. All the gangsters that run this fucking world, they don't care about them. They'd eat them too. They don't give a fuck. It's the people who these I don't know. There's got to be some guys. I would say that Rabbi Finkelstein, he's up there with them. Like he's bad. He's so I would say probably the popes. There's probably lots of rabbis and stuff. They're involved. And see, why would they all be the same with the people who they keep on as these people are all like, oh, the Luciferian, they're Satan worshipers, and then all this Satan and devils and all that kind of stuff. It's a storybook level of looking at things. I swear to God, it's not accurate as to you pull out as to see things differently. Then I don't know. That is like a story that was created, and when people just perceive life through it, and it's like that's one thing you gotta just drop off. And that is what I was saying too. Even like I've said, the third group is where I see there's a lot of religious people in that group. That there is even those people who aren't religious still believe in like devils and stuff like that. You have all sorts of people who aren't religious and stuff, and they still believe a lot of this stuff. But you don't believe in ghosts, but you believe in devils. It's like, man, people, because I don't know. All souls are energy. So they're all like orbs. They're all like stars flying around. They're all, there's all different kinds of realities and places to go and things to do when you are energy. It's like we can just pop off and create a reality. And that is kind of what all these things are. Only it's so much more, it's so much more intense than how we would perceive in the 3D, but we perceive everything through this 3D perception of what was created here. And it's so much broader because it's like being able to make yourself into a hologram or something. And then they're trying to show us about this stuff. So then we perceive through this stuff when the other level of this stuff is so far what we would think of as advanced, but it's not really an advancement through science. It's a natural order. It's just what is organically there. And it's like this other people try and like copy what is organically already there. And so, um, like an energy, I don't know, it's trippy because we can make ourselves be seen in different ways. This, it does kind of at times when I think about or look at this stuff, does kind of sometimes seem like this earthling thing is like an entry level of understanding yourself as a conscious energy. It does seem like that there is these stairs steps to get through to your understanding. And there's gets all these people get hung up, and it does seem like that there was this group, because it's interfering on a spiritual level, because it's interfering in your advancement and understanding, and it dissolves it dissolves the bigger picture. It makes it so much smaller and less significant. It makes things more insignificant, and everything outside of this is so much more broader and bigger. You got to think about like this is what your soul just does for fun. This is like what your soul just does. Like, why isn't your soul at work? Why is it here doing this? Why that is these concepts that they created to keep you busy and distracted from who and what you are. But that is part of the challenges I see as the soul comes in to be challenged. Did I ever say that? Oh yeah, because it was about, oh yeah, because in past lives where these different ways of things happening, although the things that have happened in the past, I mean, some of the stories, could be your life for all you know, a story that you are drawn to, and you feel very drawn to or understanding of, or something. It can be your life. Like you repeat throughout the existence, you repeat throughout ages. Like this isn't like your only one time. And then even in other ages, you are in other ages. So you're in other blocks of time, and all your soul absorbs all that. Your soul becomes more and more and more. I mean, that's where they talk about this 12 strand and 24 strand and all that stuff. But you as your soul, you are like a library of information. And it's the trippy thing is it's like going from judgment to no judgment. It's like the more books that you have, the more understanding, like the more lives that you can focus on and see and experience, then the more you are open, the more you are accepting, because you have learned throughout your own experiences is to not judge, because you have empathy and compassion for the different things people go through. And right now we're at a period of time, because religion has a lot to do with creating a lot of judgment, I think, of what was it? Oh, it was on a church, one of those things, they have those signs out, they change the little words and stuff. This was out in front of like a Methodist one or something, and it said, some about don't just be somebody who can quote verses, but stand in hate or something, because there is this uh hostility, duality, but oh, you can kind of see the word, hold on, hypocrisy. There's kind of a hypocrisy that goes along with that, like we're so good, but they're so judgmental. And then there's a lot of people who are super judgmental of people like on drugs and stuff, like, well, I'd never let myself get to that point. But then there's some of us who can look at it and just have compassion and, feel bad for them that they let themselves get to that point. But then on a soul level, while they're learning stuff, and, that's what every soul's doing. And yesterday I went up to the food bank and the line was long early, but I couldn't believe how many people seemed like they were on drugs, and people like I'd never seen before. Like I've never seen them in the lines before. And I was like, man, either people are starting to look really haggard from doing drugs out here, or there's more druggies moving out here, or there's more people getting on drugs. But a lot of those people, it definitely, they seem like they were, like, you get up in the morning and then, I don't know, they seem so strung out, super sad. And then I know there is people who just look down on people like that. Just look down on, the people who struggle and stuff, and not see, like, I think it's an important thing to think about, whatever that little saying is there for. It's like one wrong turn, you could be in the same place. And to acknowledge that, to understand, it can happen to anybody. Like I've seen a lot of like interviews with homeless people where it is there's a bunch of men who their family was killed in a car wreck. They got depressed. They couldn't handle uh, life. They weren't even, a lot of men didn't even know how to deal with their emotions. And then they are, lose their jobs because they don't show up at work because they're depressed. A lot start drinking, and it just, their life goes down, down, down. That's why loss is one of the hardest things to get over, to pull yourself back up from. It is such a, it is like a, I see it like a weight on you going through water. Like it's the difference of drowning and drowning with a chain with a weight on you, being anchored. Like there's a real heaviness to it, a real, it's a real challenge. And it's a challenge that we've all experienced. Like we've all experienced loss. We've all experienced losing. I think we've probably all had experiences of losing our whole entire families, losing everything, because just all you got to do is just think about history. Like what we know of history. It hasn't been a lot of good stuff. It's been a lot of harsh shit. A lot of stuff that was really harsh. And that's why I see this time period now as like this big wrap up, this big period of time of like everything you've learned throughout your lives, but you got to connect to that side of you. But all the things that you learned, and those sides of you, when you connect to them, brings up a lot of emotion. And a lot of people aren't comfortable dealing with emotion. And so it makes them very uncomfortable to deal with things. And especially when it's stuff that they've told you isn't real, and you have like these ideas, these strong feelings of this past life. Like maybe you see yourself as a soldier, a Roman soldier in battle, and you keep having this feeling, and maybe you keep running across this guy, and every time you see him, you have this really sad feeling, and you just don't even know why. And then this haunting dream. And then when you can put it together and realize, like, oh, I killed this guy in a battle, and he is coming back into this, I'm putting something back in balance. And so think of like something good that you can do. Like it may be something that you need to say to him. It could be just a good deed. It could be anything, but that's the kind of shit that goes on. That's the kind of shit that you got to kind of pay attention to, not get caught up in like, God, I'm so weird. God, why am I having this dream? Why does this feel so real? Why do I feel I'm at this place? Why do I keep having this interaction with this person? Why does this keep happening? Why is that happening? And start putting it all together as the signs and the communication of what you're really here for, what you're really doing here, what you're really playing this other game. This other game that is kind of cool is all of a sudden when I see you playing the game, not in this heavy way of people pleasing and trying to be perfect and all that stuff, but when you get into the groove with the universe of reading the signs, jumping, it's like going through a stream, like space out there with the unknown, and all these stones sticking up in a stream, and you just jumping from stone to stone. And oh, that's cool, because then the stone isn't even there. When you're here, there's such a trust that you have to know where the stone's gonna be. Whoa, that is cool, because that is so true. It is this building this trust with the universe to be willing to go, like I said, go into the dark, not knowing where you're going, just knowing that that's where you need to go, and trust that they've got your back, that the lights will come on in the rooms that you need to be in. You'll know the way because they'll light the path. Oh my gosh, this is making me super emotional. Fuck. That is getting in sync with the universe. That's what I've been trying to do. So this is like a part of my, yeah, I totally get it. As that is what I've been trying to do, is break free from the prison that was created by, you trying to please others and be perfect and make a plan and be successful and all the things that we get wrapped up in. And it starts out, it's not like we're doing it wrong. It starts out because that is a part of this game of life, this societal norms that we came into experience. So we got that opportunity to go through that experience, a fresh experience too, and then have it back up into this this explosive time where we go from, I totally can see like that, going from this 3D concept, this way that people look at life, and taking this big quantum leap over to this expansion way of considering what life is all about, and going into this new level, because this one is so controlled and we are the ones who are trying to control it. We're the ones who are constantly, we think we know what's best. Oh, well, we don't want that. Well, we do want that. Well, we don't want this. We don't want that. And all of that stuff. And like what I was saying, like these people who think like, just jump timelines. Oh, that's no good. Just jump that timeline. Well, if you're not doing it, you're not doing it right. It's like, what the fuck? My guidance is here, when you're going through something, you go to your guides and you interact and you talk and you get the purpose, you get the understanding, you learn and you grow through this stuff. You don't just jump around it. So, but I don't know how they can even really jump out. I like just start ignoring it. Just wait, I'm putting on my visors here. I'm putting on my glasses so I don't have to see this anymore. I'm gonna ignore this at this point because I've jumped timelines. So I'm over here. Don't talk to me about that. I jumped timelines. So I don't know how it works. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But it is. I totally can see this 3D way that we perceive everything, and that is where this, like, it's way deeper, like where people think of like angels and devils. It's like you got to think way more broad. Like, you think every fucking thing is an angel and devil or a ghost that doesn't even know what it's doing or where it's going and has no clue. It just got one chance and it didn't know what to do. It's like, okay, that all seems wacky to me. And that's the kind of shit that people believe. And it seems wacky. It's like, how can you get to that, be comfortable in this low level? Ooh, you know what I just had seen a video about? is that during Mount St. Helen, that there was like a whole rescue mission, and people had to sign NDAs and stuff like that, it said. And I think that it was a big threat. But during the Mount St. Helen, a whole bunch of Sasquatch were affected. They were rescuing Sasquatch. They had tents up trying to help them. They had to, some were so injured, they had to put them down. There was like a whole thing. And there was people in the the village and shit coming and helping. Like it was a whole thing. So I don't know. I know that, out in the mountains and stuff, there's things that live out there. And uh, it's like that they can make themselves to not be seen because our eyes it's like our eyes pick up on a certain vibration and we tune into that vibration. It's like we're birthed into this tuned in vibration so that we see the things that we're supposed to see. But it's like you have more opportunity. It's like you need that thing in the room, but you have a whole room full of stuff and you've got to go through the room and figure out what it is, the thing you need. And the thing you need is highlighted by the universe, but everything else has a distraction. Everything else pulls you to look over here, look over there. And when you look over here and look over there, there's more to the pull. There's those bright, shiny lights. They're doing better. Oh, they look way better. Oh, that person's got it all. It's all of those things in that focus. So we zoom in on their life and we start yearning for what they have. We start becoming jealous and envious. We start feeling bad about ourselves. I saw another girl who was saying about, what was it? It was something with makeup, I think. Or was it it was something artificial that she put on. And she said, it really built my confidence. See, that's the thing. Putting something artificial to build your confidence is going to, that creates a crutch where you stop believing in yourself. You start not liking something about yourself. Well, you got to have that. Well, you're no good without that. Well, if you don't have that, what do you? So you've got to build your confidence. Like when you're feeling bad about yourself, like, well, I think one of them, maybe I saw more than one, because one was this hair thing. It was, okay, so they have all these wigs, weaves, and all this shit, but now they're bringing back, and this is something that was a thing a while ago, so this is definitely a comeback, because I remember these. My stepmom wore one of these. My mom might have wore one. A lot of women wore these things, and they were like just this little hair thing, and it was like they would pin them in, and then it would be like this poof, so they had like a poof back here, and they're called something. Or they used to be called something. I keep hearing the word fall, and maybe they were called a fall, and then there was a wig or something. I don't know. But anyways, they've made a comeback now. And especially because so many women, I think a lot of men too, but a lot of men, a lot of people, like if a man starts losing his hair, well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you get older. They don't sit there and think like, oh, well, it's goddamn poison. You got to get out and get rid of that fucking poison. And so there's lots of men losing their hair. It's just like, well, that's what happens. You're a man, aren't you? But now we got all these women losing their hair, tons and tons. And all being sad. Well, some of it is because of all the poison. Some of it is because they do so many chemical treatments to their hair. They don't have any respect for their hair, and they don't take care of it. Some of it is the radiation. Some of it is the frequency, because if the frequency can affect each of us differently, depending on our frequency. So the frequencies that they are messing with can affect us. And there's a lot more going with the frequency. It's like there's a lot going. It's like this energy, this wave of energy that is like going around us right now. It's like this pulsating energy. And so I think that is where this, like, it feels so weird. Everything sounds weird. It's like this energy, and it's like this pulsating, but there's going to be this, I don't know, if it's going to keep going slow. mm, Um, but something is going to make a huge change. And maybe there is going to be chunks. Maybe it is going to go slow. Maybe it is going to be like the um because the nuke thing, like that's just a threat. Like they can't do those because all the spaceships would surround it. Like, they just turn it off. They can't do it because it affects other realms and stuff. It is it's toxic to other realities and realms, so they can't mess with that. So it's so when they make those threats, it's just like a big show. I don't think there's anything to be scared about that. But then also we've got bad guys who will hit us with EMPs and other forms of radiation and stuff that they can get away from, get away with, because that is something that is used as like weapons and stuff for more advanced beings, is frequency weapons and stuff. Because I don't know, in the shows and stuff, they show like you can hold somebody where they can't move with the frequency. You can scramble, you can evaporate them, like all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. I would think that probably that stuff is true about the weapons that, some of the weapons we think uh, are so scary or really clumsy. Just how we look at the same thing with the tools of more primitive beings that have been here, and we look at it as like, oh, that's so primitive. And that's how ours are. Ours are so primitive. And it's weird too with all these older structures, like especially when they show like primitive tools and stuff, and then they try and convince us that these extraordinary structures were built with these primitive tools. And when there's really like these advanced beings coming and building them, I don't know if it's almost like three-dimensional printout or something, because they definitely didn't just like put a bunch of workers down and build them. So I don't know if there's ways of just creating these structures. I don't know. We're going to learn a lot more as things progress through this part is the most clumsiest part, because not everybody is aware of what's to come. And so, but the money thing is going to be collapsing, the government thing. So it can go where it's just going to be all of these like different events, and maybe the huge thing will be like the solar flash thing. And that would be like the harvest thing, where a bunch of people will disappear or something. Maybe this will just keep being all this awakening leading up to it. I know that there's going to be this part where there's going to be this grand awakening. And I think a lot of different people will have it. Maybe it'll be different things, like different groups will have different things like that will all of a sudden wake them up. And it could be, some with government stuff, some with money stuff, all different things. So, because we have so many things going. Like I said, this thing with Assange being out now, it just seems like uh, it's like, okay, now everything's open. Now things are gonna start flowing. So we'll see. I mean, they've got all this stuff going on Joe, like I don't know if I had already said this, but the news is now saying on X that there's conspiracy theorist account, and it's followed by Trump Jr. and um, who was another person? It was another big name person. And said this account's followed by this. I don't know how big this account is or whatever. Obviously big enough to be seen by people who see zillions of accounts. And so the this guy is saying that the Joe isn't Joe, and he was showing a whole bunch of different stuff. But so the news was like talking about how weird. So they're saying that that's not the real Joe. They're saying it could be clones. It could be someone in a mask. They're saying it could be actors. it could be this, it could, like, they're going through all this stuff. So they've got that now, going mainstream. So I don't know how that's going to play out, because this is a truth time. So it's not going to be like, well, we'll just keep tricking them, because there's a lot of people that have got to see, like, because there's a group of us who say, hey, that's not really Joe. And then there's a group of people who say, that's Joe. Oh my God, don't be ridiculous. He just had Botox. And because that's the thing. So it's got to show the truth to them. So see, that would be a big awakening, a big smack, like, what? What? I can't believe it. How did you know? And argue and stuff like that. So they, you would think that it would be like, to me, it makes sense, Scooby-Doo. Like, up there talking, and all of a sudden, pull off the mask, guess who? And it seems like, because the disclosure has to happen, people have to see the truth. That's the awakening. So I don't know how it's going to go down. It doesn't seem like it's just going to disappear. Like, oh, well, Joe's going to just like slip out the back door and we'll stop talking about him or something. It's like, I think they have to show, like, it's not really him, and all of this shit that's been going on is like, so you're going to count this stuff? If this, well, if it's going to be an actor, like, I don't know. I really don't have any idea how they're going to play this off. But something, there's going to be at some point where things are going to be shown. David Wilcock yesterday did a live all of a sudden, and I guess he was saying that his intel is telling him that shit's about to go down. And I don't know. I didn't listen. I went in and listened for a couple minutes, but I don't know. Like, it was one thing when I listened to him and he was talking about aliens and all that kind of stuff, but when he just starts talking, like, he about spiritual stuff, and I don't even think he even understands about the difference between spiritual and religious. Maybe, I don't know, some of the stuff he says, I'm like, stick to the things that these other things and learn about these before you use your platform to talk about this stuff, when you may be an expert on this, but you're not an expert on that. And some of the stuff he says, and some of the stuff he says, it does seem like, well, he has no idea, what the hell. So, and he's just guessing, which is fine, but it just says, I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's like where I've got to see, he's got to come off a pedestal. Maybe I had him on a pedestal, like, oh, well, because he was out there, like, saying stuff, when people thought it was crazy. And he was publicly saying a lot of stuff. And so it was like, you looked up to him. And then, because anybody who talked about aliens and stuff like that, you get total abuse. People laugh at you and think you're crazy. So, yeah, I did look at him in a certain way. But now, he comes out and starts saying all this other stuff. Like, he was saying, see, Edgar Casey's test, or the part I saw, the Edgar Casey's prophecy is coming true. It's what he said and stuff. It's like, dude, is way more to this, what's going on. And he's read like the Book of One and stuff. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Because I've heard him start talking about religious stuff. He's really 3D on the money thing. He's very, talks to Archangel Michael. That's what I'm saying about this religious stuff. Like, these archangels and devils and demons and Satan. Like, I know he's talked about devils and Satan, and then to me that is just like ludicrous. It's like, come on, people. There is dark energy. There's not just devils chasing us around. Like, I don't understand how people can think like that. Like, and there's a ton of these people, a ton of the religious people, but it goes beyond the religious people, because that's just like an accepted format. Those devils or Satan and stuff. And like I was saying, I don't even think these people are, where people say that they are worshiping Satan and stuff. Like, I think they probably have some kind of alien, other gods that have come here throughout time that helped other people. And who knows, like, some of those people have been there for a long ass time. Like, they've just gone in different bodies. So it's just like vampires. And they've been around for a long, long time. And so they worship their, isn't their creator, but it's their, I don't know, like the one that gives them guidance or something. I'm not sure, but it's like some sort of God entity or something, I think. And then they still do practices of rituals and stuff. So to me, is like, I don't know, there's like a disrespect to creation when you are picking one God out and saying, oh, this God, I worship you. I give you this, so give me that. And a God that would be up there saying, yes, kill the goods, give them to me, and give me fresh blood. Like, that is, like, what kind of God is that? Like, I mean, there's a lot of weirdness to their whole thing, but it's not like this overall God and Satan and stuff. There's this energy. There's that positive energy and a negative energy. And that people get very drawn into the negative energy. And people who are drawn into the negative energy think that they're fucking positive. That's what's so twisted about it. That's why this period of time has to occur. This time of mirrors. People have to be able to see themselves. And it's crazy throughout this awakening how you can see the people. You can see straight through them and they can't see themselves. That is why this time period is going to occur. This time of mirrors, this period of time of reflection, where we've gone through all these different lives. We've gone through all of these obstacles and hardships, and where we've gotten to in our growth and our connection and our ability to pull free from what seems real and trust what we feel is real. Because it's weird, because a lot of this stuff I think people don't feel as real. But I don't know, people are so confused. So confused. And I'm sure it is very challenging for a lot of people to pull free from the 3D, but it is a prison to your mind. It holds you in a strict configuration of how you look at things. In order to go into a broader sense of who and what you are and what you're doing here, you do have to make this jump. And I can see why they say from 4D to 5D and all of that stuff, because even in the realms and stuff, like coming into this 3D environment game thing, this energy, this vibration, this matter, it's matter of fact. That's but coming into this reality that it is going it's like a certain vibration, and then when your soul comes out of your body, like in other realm, like it can come out while your body is resting, like it's not tethered. I swear, I think mine goes out all the fucking time. If this is like, I don't know if it's like how we focus, because I lose focus all the time and go to other places. So I don't know if that's my consciousness just leaving and going and just leaving me sitting there and then coming back. Is so easy for me to zone out. That is why I would be called a daydreamer all the time when I was a kid and stuff. It was just really easy for me. That is, I swear there was like certain things, like I'm curious about those tests now that they did in school. What things that they were trying to capture. I know that they were trying to find people who could do certain things. And I'm sure about the telepathy thing, especially after what Corey Good said, because he was used for telepathy between these other beings. And, when I was a little kid, I didn't know, I thought everybody was talking to people. Like, I didn't know it wasn't, everybody didn't know that they were or something. Because I still think everybody is. They just think it's their own thoughts. So they just get all in their ego, like, oh, I'm so smart. I think this and I think that. They don't realize that they're communicating all the time with other beings. And that is where you have to, once you realize you're communicating all the time, that's when you got to start noticing, like, okay, well, this energy is saying this. So how do I feel about that? Okay, well, does that hurt other people? Does that help me and hurt others? Because that's when you can start noticing the dark energy. Because they always will lean into other people are expendable. Fuck them. And, you're all that matters. And so the dark energy is very much tries to isolate you and keep you under wraps, keep you under their pressure. So it's because they feed off of you. They feed off of your energy, your sadness, your reluctance, your disappointment, your anxiety. And you look at all the fucking anxiety that we have, and then you think that that has not made a ton of dark energy because that builds it bigger and bigger and bigger, just like a parasite. That's so weird too, because yeah, I just saw this person getting one of those GI scope things, and the doctor pulled out a fucking tapeworm. It was like fucking so goddamn long. It was like fucking snake. I was like, oh my God, just living in her stomach. So I pulled that out, but that is like what our world has become. These parasites have taken over. But that is why things are going to flip. This cleansing is like the universe, the galactic cleanse. That is why if you are parasitic, oh, fuck yeah, see? That is why. That is why this big lean in on independence. Because it's parasitic. It's parasitic to be dependent. It's parasitic to draw off someone else's energy, to need somebody else to complete you, to be that whole thing. That's why so much shit is breaking apart, because we become parasitic to things. And this is this energy breaking free. And that parasitic energy is low vibration. That is what's going away. That part. That energy is like being flushed by the universe. It is like, oh, okay. It's like that that energy. Okay. So that energy is very stagnant. It's very stale and stagnant. So it's like that energy stays where it is. It is like a crust. And those of us who pull free from that, it's like the flesh sucks us out of it. So it's like we come out of that energy. That energy can still exist. There could still be realities that come into that energy, but the souls that no longer are in alignment with that energy, it is like this pull out of that energy, which leaves that energy by itself. In that us all pulling out, that is where a new one is created, because we pull free from that. So it's not like that has to cease to exist, because the universe, remember, doesn't have judgment about stuff like that. The universe allows all things to exist. And so it's not like these things can't exist. It is but it zooms out. It zooms out, zooms out, zooms out. It becomes less and less and less, almost like a speck of dirt in a fucking field. So it becomes very insignificant. The significant becomes with our energy pulling and creating a new reality. But see, that's the thing too, is you don't want to judge all this darkness, because that is where you learn. So you don't want to be like, oh, that's bad. That's like going through your life and saying all those things were bad, but all those things created you. It made you who you are through those experiences. So they aren't bad. They are the creation. So that is why we don't want to just be stuck in judgment, even in this hellacious hellhole of a reality that we've been existing in. We gotta just be like, we're letting go of it. We're letting go, shedding it. And the shedding of what holds us, you find yourself out there barren again as just as soul. And that is where it is this learning to love yourself and to accept yourself. And because once you get out there and when you've shedded all of these things that you thought you were, then you are just bare, and you have to be able to love yourself to be exposed like that. That's weird too, because a lot of people have that dream all the time of showing up somewhere naked. It's like we fear being seen. We fear being exposed. We fear that we're not holding it together and hiding ourselves. Like we're the performance. We put on a performance so that we can hide what it is that we feel shame about, whatever we judge ourselves about. We put on a performance to hide from that. And then it is this getting into this point of being able to shed all of the costumes, all of the masks, all of the stuff that you thought that was making you acceptable, because all it is you trying to hide from you. Oh man, that is emotional. Oh my God, it makes me want to cry. Is that is like you are hiding from you. You're always hiding from you, but you think everybody else is the one who's judging you, but you're the one judging yourself by something this person said, something this person said. And then we judge ourselves and we hide ourselves, feel shame about ourselves. And then we get mad at everybody else as that they are the ones that are forcing us to be this way. See, it's so toxic. And there's so much resentment that it just builds us into dark and hateful. And it feeds the dark energy. See why this is this realm. And then see the challenges as the soul to break free from that. And don't forget that energy will build you up. It will build your ego up. And so it's like, well, oh, I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be the best. I don't need to be, you got to not get fed by a dark energy, but this is this time. And that is why I think it become more of a megaphone too, but there will still be this period of time, this mirrors, where this time of reflection, where you will definitely see things more clearly. Everybody will see things more clearly, but it is going to be difficult because, like I said, people don't like to deal with things. They don't want to see themselves. They don't want to deal with emotions. They don't want to feel bad. They spend all their life trying to feel good, putting up this fake person. But it's exhausting. It's exhausting, and you're doing it to yourself. You're judging yourself, and then you try and create a fake person to please who? Who out of all the group? Who? Because this person likes this, so you're a little bit like that. This person likes that, so you're a little bit like that. Like it's like you've got all these, you're juggling all these balls trying to please all these people. You got to let them fall and just expose yourself and be like, this is who I am. And then, and it can be, depending on how fake you've become, be shocking. Now my stomach's growling. Shocking to a lot of people. People be like, what the hell? You were like that inside there? And didn't see that coming. Oh, and now Nickelodeon has a new show for, those drag queen and all these rainbows and stuff. It's like, okay, so think it through. Like we don't, you don't believe in gender, then why are we pushing kids to be thinking about any of that kind of stuff? Why? Why would it be like, well, we're just not going to talk about it at all. Let them figure it out for themselves. We're not even going to bring it up. It's like, it's just nonstop. Now it's on morning TV, morning cartoons. It's like, oh, got all catchy songs, the colors going. and everything. Kids, you think about your sexuality. What are you? You're probably not what you think you are. Like, it's like, come on, let kids just be kids. But we'll go into that more in our lifetimes as the future moves on, because we've all gone through this programming. They were programming us all the time through our lives. And so we will give value to kids getting to just be kids. Like, that's coming. Luckily, that's coming in our future, where there's going to be a lot of respect, a lot of like, you're a kid, be a kid, have fun being a kid, because it is too fast to be an adult. And adult is, you can be adult for a long ass time. Like, I swear to God, it's going to go into, I think 350 years is going to not, I think we're going to probably definitely go more into 900 years, 1,000. There's fucking beings who have been the same being for 20,000, 50,000, millions. I mean, they're talking about the Anki or whatever, these Sumerian guys that created us are going to be coming back. And so they've been alive for a long ass time. So, 900 years is still a drop in the bucket when you're thinking about some of these beings have been around for thousands and tens of thousands, maybe millions. And some of them have or been around, are conscious of themselves and stuff, and don't even take up form anymore. They're just watchers. They're just watchers. They're just watching and learning, watching us do what we do. It's got to be like a show. I was falling down and getting back up. I'm sure it's a really fun show to watch us. So, anyways, that's with all that stuff going on, anything can happen. I would say just be prepared for anything. Like, we've got so much stuff happening, and it's all building up. And just keep in mind to keep purging that side of yourself. Any side of yourself that you see yourself being dependent, like if you see yourself being like mad because somebody doesn't accept you or doesn't like you, then question yourself, like, why? Why do I need them to? Why do I need this person to like me? Why do I need this person to accept me? Why can't I just like myself? Why do I need anybody else to make me feel good? So keep questioning yourselves, because that is that letting go of that parasitic energy of like where we create so much toxicity. And people go into very codependent, toxic relationships through this. And it is all this patterning, this give and take is out of balance. And it's there for us. Like, it's out of balance for us to be able to like, oh, this is out of balance. But so many of us try and we just go into it instead of recognizing. Like, that is when I feel like when you start healing is when you recognize the stuff is out of balance and be like, oh, I got to get this shit in balance. I can't just keep going with like whatever happens. No, I've got to pull this shit in and get it together and pull myself into balance, pull myself into, I think, a period of time every day to sit and reflect on yourself. I think that gives people a lot of anxiety and stress, not having time of reflection, just running from here to there, not sure what you did over there. Did I even say the right thing? Did I do what I should have done? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that or said that. And people, that just gives them anxiety because they're zipping here and there, and they're not having enough time to really consider themselves. And that's the autopilot. Man, my stomach is growling and growling. Every time I think, oh, I can fast. It's like my body is always like, yeah, but I'm hungry. And it's like, is it the parasites? Is it me? Am I a weak faster? Like, I don't know. I'm supposed to fight my body, tell it, shut the fuck up. You're not hungry. When it tells me it's hungry, am I supposed to respect my body, disrespect my body? Like, all these things are things that like we all have to figure out for ourselves. That is us finding our balance. Like, am I gonna listen to you? Am I not gonna listen to you? And don't forget too, this whole fucking thing with aging, it just really gets me, is the is all of this mineral deficiency and this overrun with chemicals and people actually being sick, actually giving their body, like getting everything out of order. And that and then you go to the doctor and talk to them about what's out of order, and they just tell you like these vague things. Well, you're aging, you're aging, you're aging. And people are so convinced of it. Man, I couldn't believe it. That was another thing too. Every time I go to the food bank and I just look around at these people, and people just become comfortable in aging. It's like, well, I'm just going to let myself go a little. Well, I can't exactly keep in shape anymore. I'm aging. I can't do that and stuff. And just surrender to it instead of going and saying, like, I don't know about this aging bullshit. I think I need to take better care of myself. I need to live a healthier lifestyle. And I need to have awareness of what I'm consuming when it's fucking mostly chemicals and there's no nutrition in it. You gotta figure out like where is your nutrition coming from. And I think it's an important component as well is that we are made up of minerals and water, and that's what being depleted. So we have to recognize that stuff for ourselves and see. But it was another thing I had seen on the aging thing. There's like that just keeps coming up and coming up. And I think the people who, like, there's people who are turning their lifestyles and going towards like taking it serious. Like, I gotta take care of myself. Especially when you realize this aging thing is fake. With all these people who haven't, they can't, it's gonna be the same thing as it's hard on those religious people to wrap their heads around when things start going in a certain direction and they start feeling like, oh, this is the trick. This is the trick. This is, they said, we're going to be tricked. We got to keep our eyes on Jesus through all this. It's the same thing with the aging because people have had that so programmed into them so many times of going to the doctor and been told and watching the signs in their bodies and stuff, and they can't wrap their heads around it. And the thing is young kids, they don't even have to go through it. They can start taking care of themselves and never have to go through it. The people who have gone through it, they've got to go backwards, and it's going to be a lot more challenging, but you can. It just is so crazy how many people like I'll see and they just let themselves go, and their hair is going white and gray, and then some people fight it, but they fight it by trying to stay young, by dressing young or something, or acting, I don't know. It's just like when you get yourself to understand like that we as beings can live a long time, that this whole thing is made up, and that we can that we have to take care of ourselves. And the people who think like they're aging in this great way, he's pushing all these retinols and all those creams and stuff like that, it seems like they are aging faster. And then it seems like people who are going to taking it more serious are going in one direction, and the other people are going in another direction, whatever time that each person puts on their brakes. But there's a huge group of people who just go with the flow of aging. They just all, in all the things that are ailing them, they just talk about it. Oh, well, I got the heart problems now. Well, I'm going to get a stent. Oh, well, I've got the diabetes. Well, who doesn't have the diabetes? Well, I don't have it. It's all these things being put out of whack in your body, and instead of putting the things back in whack, you just are like, well, yeah, that's what I got. Well, the doctor tells me to take this. Well, that's making you sicker. That's aging you. That's making you worse. So you got to get out there and figure out what it is that your body needs, what's out of whack, and start putting things back into wax. Find your balance. And then, you stop all that nasty aging. But there's so many people who are so deep into it. I was very curious about that. But that would be a big part of healing, is coming back coming back from the brinks of aging, coming back from the brinks of every disease, all this shit that they've done to us. So, anyways, that's the whole thing is all about how you look at things and how you take care of yourself, what you focus on, what you don't focus on, and it's all for your own learning and growing. It's all for your own benefit. So, and I think you have the ability to look around and decide for yourself once you start waking up to really notice what it is you want to focus on, what it is you want to think about, what it is you want to focus your energy on, and how you want to take care of yourself. So, anyways, that's enough of that. So just remember to focus on you and to focus on learning how to love yourself and then learning how to love everyone and have a loving day. And it's up to you. And then I'll talk to you tomorrow. See you later. Bye.